had to go get my pen. Forgot, I can't do anything without my pen. Hey, everybody. Um, this is February 3rd, 2019. And I'm not sure I like the angle of this video, but it's hands free. I don't have like a good thing to do, but we're just going to keep it at this angle for right now anyway. I'm going to move around for a little bit and show you something else. No, that's weirder. I guess we'll have to keep it at that. All right, February 3rd, 2019. And one thought that's been going through my head right now is, as far as prepping goes, is on a lot of criticisms within the community and among other preppers about how you're not doing it right. I have news to tell you that if you're watching a prepping channel, at least that's the very first step to doing something, and you may be even surprised at what you are getting done and what you are doing. So congratulations, you are not doing it wrong. You are not failing. At least you may be failing faster than what the rest of us do, or what the rest of these other folks do. It's an end game, isn't it? It ends with death. Let's just be honest with you. So no matter what you do in this life, it's going to end with the same result, and that's going to be, you're dead. So whether you survive till, old age, or you survive, 3 days without, proper water, sanitation, etc., you've at least survived X number of days longer than somebody else. So whatever you're doing right now, if you have, what's the analogy? A friend of mine, we use the can of tuna analogy. It is, if you have, one can of tuna in your storage, one can of tuna, and there's somebody out there who has 0 cans of tuna, you are now more prepared than somebody who has 0 cans of tuna. So no matter where you are in the process, you are progressed. You have progressed at some point. If you've got, hey, Papa Truck, how's it going? Is Christy there too? I didn't see Christy. Hey, Christy. So no matter where you are in the process, you're at least, as long as you have the mindset and the willingness, you are already ahead of the game for many other folks. If you've got a redundant item, now you're twice as prepared in your own spectrum. If you've got 2 cans of tuna, then you are now more prepared than what you were than the person with 1 can of tuna. So every step that you take puts you further along the spectrum. So there are guys out there that tend to, well, I worked as a government, I was a secret agent with the government, and I carried 10 guns, and I have a level 85 clearance, and so I'm going to tell you, you're going to die when it hits the fan. All that do what you can do. Do what you can do, and you can't prepare for everything. That's the one thing I'm getting to, is you cannot prepare for everything. It's going to be impossible. Again, it's an end game, which ends with death, and that involves another kind of preparedness, and that's where my Christian faith comes in. So you better know Jesus, and so you can be prepared for part 2 on that. So if you don't know Jesus, I encourage you to do that. AmazingFacts.org is one of my favorite Bible study programs out there, and it is Seventh-day Adventist, just to let you know and give you a disclaimer on that. So Sam's Club haul yesterday for long-term storage. That's awesome. Papa Chuck, I have to see if you did a video on that. And speaking of Sam's Club, I want to talk about this for just a minute as well. Sam's Club and Walmart. Okay, for the longest time when it came to prepping, when it came to just shopping, period, at Walmart, I avoided Walmart like the plague. I mean, I just would not go into Walmart. My social anxiety would kick in just to the nth degree. Now, if I had to go to Walmart, I would, but I have to go in and go quickly and get it and come back out. Now there's not a whole lot of excuses left anyway, as far as if you're just from that perspective alone. Yeah, he will keep you in perfect peace. That's very true. From that perspective alone, now with grocery pickup, you can do grocery pickup. You can order your stuff, go curbside pickup, and they can load it for you. It's not an option I've done yet before. But as I'm walking in yesterday evening, I went yesterday evening to the Walmart, And mom and daughter stopped off at these kiosks off to the side of these little lockers. You know, they scan their app, and I think they get their stuff out of this locker. I went, hey, that's great too. Walk in, get it, go out. I like that option as well. But when I checked out, I went to the self checkout, and I asked this little girl at the produce section, sweetest little thing, and it's nice to have an angelic face, who is that's young. It just gives you hope for the future. Sweet angelic face. I said, "Excuse me, miss." She turned to me with full attention, with full attention, and I asked her a question, and she was very pleasant. So Walmart, who knew? And because my question was, I said, "Hey, I've got this cilantro I'm going to be getting. Can I weigh it at the self checkout?" She goes, "Yes, sir, you sure can." So I did that, and it was just amazing. So self checkout, there was no waiting. Went up, and I've seen that with lines before. The self checkout, but Walmart, I have just determined that Publix is going to be off my list, and I will be avoiding Publix like the plague unless I have to. Publix is just where I live. That's a very premier grocery store chain. It's Florida based, and it is on the higher end, price wise. I used to think that they were lower end because I thought they were just a little simple little hometown kind of grocery store. But no, and that was 30 years ago when I first saw them. But now they're a major player in the grocery store chain and market business. And oh man, bug out bag review, Papa Truck. I got to check it out. I got to see your bug out bag review. I will have to do a video on my spreadsheets I'm just now making. And this is on spreadsheets of just writing out lists. I love lists, and why it took me this long to actually get to making these lists on bug out bags and all this other kind of stuff too on things that I need. No videos up yet. Okay. With pie and coffee, that sounds wonderful. Sounds pretty good. I'm off the raw vegan diet right now, so I can have pie. Raw vegan diet went well, by the way. I did lose some pounds. I'm gaining my weight back that I lost, of course, because I'm eating like an idiot now. So I'm back to kind of eating like a dingbat and starting to feel miserable again. And so, do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. So I just have to get back to maybe doing another little reset. But I felt good while doing my raw vegan. I just got extremely bored and agitated because it was just boring, and I missed real food. Now it's just a matter of eating small amounts of real food. But Walmart, now I bought ground beef there in a 10-pound tube. It was so funny. Like this joker was giant for $2 a pound. So I paid $20 for all that too. Christy, my favorite pie, I like key lime is one of my favorites. Key lime or lemon meringue. Like a good old lemon meringue pie. That's probably one of my favorites. If not, maybe a good peanut butter pie. I like those. So those are. But I guess if I have to pick a top one, I guess key lime with a good meringue on top. I like that a lot. And so just I've gone to Walmart. Walmart is it now, and people want to say, oh, everything's from China. Is China this and China that, and and they're just. Right now, it's a matter of budgeting, because budget is number one right now. 2019 is the year of clamping down, getting my savings up, and basically just getting up my supplies. There are some criticisms, of course, to prepping. But like I said, again, if you're not doing it wrong, if you're doing something, you're not doing it wrong. We all have our own limitations. We like I said, if a hurricane's coming up, and you've at least put one piece of plywood over one window, well, you're now and you have 8 windows, well, now you're 1/8 more prepared than what you were when you didn't even do that or have it, compared to your neighbor who has 8 windows and put up nothing over theirs, and now you are again a step ahead in the game. So you've got your 1 can of tuna in the cabinet, and that's all you've got. There's a trucker strike now. You can't get cans of tuna. You're now more prepared than your friend who has 0 cans of tuna and does not have access to tuna. So that's, store closures, with, there's a price spike. but now you paid, $1 for your can of tuna, and your neighbor now has to pay $1.50 for their can. So that oh, I also like sweet potato pie too. I love sweet potato pie. Christy, I prep a little at the time. Oh, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about prepping a little bit at a time. Yes, that is the prudent thing to do, but I'm a person of somewhat extremes. I like to, when I'm ready, it's not so much extreme. It's I want pie too now. I want pie. Not so much extreme as it is impatience. And when I want, and it's selfishness. When I want it now. These toys and things on Amazon, that's part of what got me in trouble this past year. When I got downsized in 2017, and I spent 2018 almost having a little bit of a pity party and spending a little bit too much, and got me a little bit of trouble financially. I'm like, it gave me, a dent. And dang, oh, you bought dried mashed potatoes and hash browns. Okay, hash browns. The dried hash browns, I went to Gordon Food Service or GFS or something like that too, and I saw the big institutional things. It looks like a milk carton of the hash browns. You just fill that with water and you fill that up. Is that what you got, Papa Truck? Because I want to know what kind of dried hash browns you got. And I'm starting to get back into some of my dried foods, but very selectively. And I also want to do a video on what I'm canning now and what I'm not. I'm kind of backed off on my canning game as far as canning things myself for different reasons. But 2018 was a little bit, I was a little bit spendy that year, and I'm okay. But 2019's got to be the year of gathering up more capital. And speaking of capital, one of the criticisms that we get as a prepper is buying these things and having deferred capital. Yeah, it's in a big cardboard carton, like a milk carton. Yeah, that's what I saw too, and I want to see how that works for you. I want to see how those dried hash browns work for you, because I saw those at a food service store, and I thought about buying some of those. And I've seen them used like at one of my old workplaces, their cafeteria. The Sodexo folks had control of that, and they used that. So I'd like to see how that works out. So I'd like to see how that works out for you. And if it's cost effective, then buying it maybe in a number 10 can somewhere. Either with Thrive Life or with Honeyville or one of those folks. The deferred capital. So we buy things and we defer our capital into purchased goods. But but that capital is like, because people will say, well, why don't you just save up the money? Well, if you don't have access to these things, if the store shelves are empty, money's not going to help you. But again, if you prepare for things, like my level of preparedness is now not so much doomsday. It's not so much if martial law, any of that thing. I think I'm not anywhere near prepared for any of that kind of thing. My type of preparedness and my level is really just it's just personal. Like, I plan to still have power. I plan to still have electricity under most conditions. But that's a level tier 1. I have different tiers of prepping. My tier 1 is if we still have power, water, electricity, and but if I don't have income coming in, or things are not available. So basically, if things are not available, if I have income coming in, I can just go buy it. But if we still have water, power, and electricity, well, that's all water, power. Okay, water, power. But I have resources on hand, like, say, for instance, I keep thinking back to when the gas prices just spiked up so huge years ago too, and the truckers were like, "Wait a minute," and it got close. You think about today, Super Bowl Sunday. People are probably right now at the grocery stores losing their minds, buying up wings, buying up picante sauce and all that other kind of good stuff, getting ready for, the big game tonight, or even last night. Last night at Walmart was kind of busy, but people are probably just going out of their gourds right now, up back home in Georgia, the shelves were empty from, you mentioned the word snow on the news. You said the word snow. And then people will lose their minds then. I mean, all of a sudden, milk and bread. There's a milk and bread shortage. Well, if you have, your powdered milk on hand or even frozen milk or whatever, you have all these things on the shelves, you don't have to do it. And I was telling my mom, I said, we're laughing and giggling. She and I both kind of do the same thing. She's retired, so this is what she'll do. And me, I live a mile from a grocery store, so I just may go to the grocery store and just to watch other people. I'll go to the magazine rack and just flip through the magazines, just enjoying myself and enjoying, the air conditioning and just the people around, just look at the magazines and just watch people and look at the checkout lines and just kind of give myself a little validation on what I do. If there's a hurricane coming up. Use my camper as a dry storage pantry. That's not a bad idea, except it's underneath a carport, because I thought about using it for storage, but then when I go camping, I'd have to like pull stuff out. Have you seen I'll go show it to you. Let's go look at it. My camper is, getting old. I gotta work out. All right. And I'll show you also the test I'm running out here. I've had these little propane tanks for those little 1 pound canisters. And I'm running this. It's warm out here today. We're like at 63 degrees, but I just wanted to empty this thing out just to get it empty. But these propane tanks are probably about 10 years old. I mean, I've had them for a long time, and they're okay. And I've had this little buddy heater for about that long as well, too. Never used it until this year. And the only reason why I got it out was to learn how to use it. Because when I was tent camping, I was going to have this, if I were going in the wintertime. And just running this, so it's part of my backups. But now I got an adapter that I can fill this off a 20-pound canister. Okay, so back out here, let me just kind of not get my license plate there in the view. But here's my little camper right here. And this is it. But I'll show you in here. I'll show you why this may not be a good idea for dry storage, because I'm going to back up a little bit and show you. Okay, this joker is not that big. That is 6 feet. No, 8 feet. I'm sorry. That's 8 feet right there. And we're only boom to boom. That is 4 feet. So this is a coffin with an air conditioner. That's what I like to do it. So there's not a whole lot of room in here for dry storage. So it's just a simple, my curtains fell down. Everything falls down usually when I travel. And plus I have to keep that little window cracked open a bit just to kind of let some air flow in. So under my bed, I got loads of storage under there. That's actually, that's a good point. You may have a good idea there. Although I don't have a whole lot of faith in how well this stuff would last because of how long it will last because of the humidity levels here in Florida. Just in this area, I mean, the humidity would probably kill most of it. Mylar bags too, and the heat in the summertime. I think the heat would be a great disservice. This time of year, I'm thinking that'd be a great idea. I mean, a real good idea. But the heat in the summertime would probably, heat and the humidity would be my killers on that. And like say to keep freeze-dried food or anything canned at all, even the only thing I would keep out there would be probably wheat berries, maybe wheat berries. Maybe that's it. Maybe honey, wheat berries and honey. And then I could just take those things out easily enough, when I go camping. If I keep them in nice little those underbed storage things and just have those and switch it out for my camping stuff. But not a bad idea. That might be something for me to consider as far as using that as storage. I'm also developing a plan for if I have to get out of Dodge, quick. I mean, hurricane evacuation. Of course, that gives you some time to plan, but let's say, for whatever reason, if I've got half an hour, what can I go grab? So I'm making that list and keeping everything together. So that so going back to my original premise of you're not doing it wrong. So as long as you have the mindset and the mentality to just to keep pushing forward and just to do something, you are going to be you're doing it more right than the person. How much weight will the little camper hold? I don't know how much it'll hold. My car will only tow, I think, 1,500 pound max, and that camper dry is 480, 500. I can't remember. All right, Christy, we'll see you later. Give the dogs a little pet for me, please. And I think so. It can hold a fair amount. It's just, and I'm towing it with a Corolla. So I'm towing it with a 4-cylinder Corolla. So that's the other thing. So my car has a very, very minimum amount that it can carry and haul. And on my list of things to take is my generator and gasoline to go with it. So that adds a lot of weight. 5 gallons of water, maybe 5 or 6 gallons of water, if not 10. So there's a whole bunch of poundage right there. And, this, that, and the other thing. So that's where, 2 pounds of food per day plus water. I also bought a Walmart. Walmart's kind of up in their game with some of this stuff. I bought some of those food ration bars too, just for my my bug out bag, just to have a little bit of something so I can maybe kind of alleviate the need for some of that. But my food, that's why I'm kind of maybe going towards a little bit of a freeze-dried amount of freeze-dried stuff, is so that I can have the lightness of that. That's why I'm getting away from canning in glass jars, doing mason jar canning. That's extra weight. I'm going to regular cans on stuff. They're a little bit lighter, and I think they're just sturdier. Glass breaks. I hate it. Just the thought of just glass kind of makes me a little nervous. Even though I've got those fancy carriers that, holds 1 jar, and it takes up this much room just to put 6 jars in there. But they're nice, and they keep things from breaking and clanking around too much. But it will only hold so much. But if I get those and I get the quart size holders, and I can put, instead of Mylar bags, if I put them in, if I do, dry can, because Mylar, I don't have any Mylar. I haven't tried Mylar so much, but I think I will maybe do that eventually. And I'll do some in, some of those, Stephanie Peterson, Chef Tess, she does like the full meals, those full freeze-dried meals in jars that you can make yourself. You kind of build yourself. And I'll do some in the jars and some in the bags. I guess I'll try. I haven't played with Mylar bags in the future. In the past. So, but see what I mean? As far as any kind of new preppers out there that are listening to us talk and kind of banter back and forth on this, there are a myriad of ways to do something. A myriad of ways. There are so many contingencies to think for and to plan for. You can't think of everything. You can't think of 100% of everything. Just begin prepping for the most likely occurrence. The most likely occurrence in your life. Now, if you have an earthquake every week, then I would prep for an earthquake every week. That would be what I would prep for and plan for. If prepping for a job loss, if you've been, fired 3 times in the past year, I would start prepping for, getting fired again. And maybe part of that prepping will be, why are you getting fired? But if economy's just doing what the economy's doing, I think the pendulum's ready to swing the other way again now too. We've had our last recession about 10 years ago, and we're probably ready for another one. We're coming up soon. I think we're due. And I think things do tend to come in waves. Lisa, you are correct. Do not go into debt to prep. Do not do not, do not. And there are so many ways to do it frugally. Um, there's another YouTube person out there named Prepper Princess who has some very good advice on being very frugally minded. You know, how to prep for like $5 a week or something like that. There's, um, I think oh goodness, who is it? Is it Survival Mom? I think Survival Mom. I think she's also, I don't know if she's a YouTuber, but I think she's got a blog. Survival Mom, I think, has a way to, like, you know, a plan of like buy this every week. My problem with those, you know, these plans that, you know, say, hey, all you need is $10 a week to buy stuff to prep for a year, and then you'll have a, you know, X amount of food. I think my problem with that is the randomness of the ingredients. Like, oh, here's apple slices, and then here's, you know, now you need 15 pounds of rice and whatever to. Well, what do you use the rice for? What do you use the apple slices for? So at the end of the year, a problem comes, and now you've got no source of income, and now again, okay, shelves are empty and you don't have anything. Okay, well, I've got this list of ingredients, but you don't know what to do with them, and you don't know how long that will last you. I think that's going to be the next step in your planning. Probably even should be prior to just purchasing things. I think you need to plan. You need to develop recipes. This is a lesson I learned because I just bought stuff willy-nilly, mainly because of the novelty of it. I wanted to see what freeze-dried or dehydrated butter powder could do. Well, you know, now I wanted to see what, you know, freeze-dried chicken would be. Rice is a great extender for recipes. That's very true. It's like, but how much do you need to extend, you know, what? It's there's another good person out there, Wendy DeWitt, who has a program called Everything Under the Sun. And she has a fantastic method out there. And hers involves, you know, you have to can your own meat, canning meat. But she says, take your recipes and try to find shelf-stable ingredients. And that's one of my projects I'm working on now, is taking all of my recipes and getting shelf-stable ingredients. Or that's for the longer term, but I'll also have, you know, just like gardening, get what you use. Yeah, that's true. I wish I could garden. I kill everything, kill it all. I got to learn not to do that. So I got to learn how to garden. But take your recipes or favorite recipes. Like mine is, I've got a favorite chili recipe, just like everybody else too. Well, now I've got it written out, got it written right out is exactly what it takes. I'm still actually kind of modifying it too. And I have it such that I know that I need this pound of meat, this whatever too. You can keep that in your freezer, keep that on your shelf, all these different locations, and now you've got, you know, for one recipe for 1 week, if it takes 1 pound of ground beef for that one recipe and you serve that one time a week for a year, I go by a 53-week year. You know, I think it's 52, but I go by 53. So I like to have just that little bit of extra scoonch in there. Of 53 weeks, well, now you need 53 pounds. So you need 53 pounds of beef, you know, ground beef to make that recipe. Now you have 1 year supply. Or you just do, I don't recommend doing that right off the bat. I recommend just maybe starting with 3 months. So now you need, that's 9 weeks. So now you just need 9 pounds, round it up to 10. I like to round up a little bit. So now I bought that 10-pound tube, at Walmart for $2 a pound. Well, now you've got that 10 pounds. You know, what I'm going to be doing right now. Oh, I got to get out of the freezer now. I'm going to slice it up into 1 pound units. Well, now you've got, you know, enough meat for one recipe of chili 1 time a week for 3 months. And now you just go back through and you do the same thing like with your favorite spaghetti sauce. Okay, that's half a pound of meat, half a pound of this sausage, half a pound of this turkey sausage, and you just keep that stuff on hand. Now, the next goal is to find out if there are shelf-stable ingredients to substitute freeze-dried ground beef. You know, so now you can substitute freeze-dried ground beef for that chili recipe, and you know you can make some modifications. There's, even sour cream powder out there for like certain recipes. It's better for recipes. Got this great taco square baked casserole thing that I like to make, but it requires sour cream. But I found out that powdered sour cream kind of works with it a little bit. It's a little bit different. But now, in case you need to hold on to things longer term, you will have a little bit of an extension to your food storage. But, start with that 3-month plan. Use your freezer, and use your shelf, use your freezer, and and just expand on from there. But that's just I'm just talking through some of my goals right now. So, like I said, no matter where you are in the process, well, now say you only have 1 pound of ground beef in the house, or ingredients just to serve, your next recipe of chili. You got your kidney beans and your seasoning packets or whatever too. Well, now you've got that 1 week stocked up, and again, you're further ahead than that person without it. So it's just you just kind of go where you can, do what you can do, and just prep for what you can. And remember that it all comes down to the same end game. We're all going to die. So it's just a matter of how long you last. Don't worry about these. Not them saying don't look into it, but these I call them hardcore issues. You don't have to go hardcore into these mutual assistance groups, and you have to be part of a mutual assistance group and part of a network, and you need to have a secret ham radio antenna installed in your attic that you can raise up with a crank, and so you can talk to 3,000 miles away. You don't have to have a secret compartment underneath your house with the basement with a hidden door and a panic room and all this. Just prep for just prep for the smallest of contingencies. That ranges from keeping a can of Fix-A-Flat into your car to just having 2 cans of tuna on your shelf, as opposed to 1 or 0. And just don't worry about the big giant projects. And again, like somebody else said, like Lisa said, don't go into debt. If it's going to put you on a strain to buy, you go to the grocery store and you need, 2 cans of pinto beans, and you want to buy 2 more cans to match that recipe to double it, to have it in your food storage, but you only afford 1 can of pinto beans, then buy the 1 can of pinto beans, and don't put the 2nd can on your credit card. Don't do that. And you just save up accordingly into what you can. But again, just don't buy things willy-nilly. Have a plan for whatever you buy. Know that, hey, out of Goshen, how's it going? Good to see you. I hope y'all are staying warm up there in Michigan with all that snow. So, and I need to wear, I'm sorry I'm not wearing my Out of Goshen shirt. I should wear my Out of Goshen shirt. I need to go back and put that on sometime. I think on my next YouTube video, I will wear my Out of Goshen shirt. I keep meaning to. It's in the cycle, my rotation. It's one of my special t-shirts that this is a sleeper junk around t-shirt. My Out of Goshen t-shirt is in my formal t-shirt collection. So I don't ever wear it. In my videos, I just use this is my pajamas basically. So stay warm. It's in the 40s. Oh, nice. And the snow's melting. Good. And I'm glad to know you got your water back on too. So, and of course, now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. Just don't worry about with the big crazy, it's it's funny with the big crazy goals. Just keep it simple and just don't worry about, not that you shouldn't surround yourself with that kind of people, but just don't be intimidated by them. Don't be intimidated by them, and just know that, in fact, you probably should actually surround yourself with them. You probably should pursue and watch those channels. I love those channels. There's several out there, and these guys are just amazing. These guys are just amazing with what kind of resources they can put together and what they've got. But right now, I know that I am not as progressed in that spectrum as they are. I'm just not to that point where they are. Just don't be intimidated by them, and just do what you can. Oh, I know where I was too. But when you do buy your can of beans, when you do buy this, know what that can of beans is for, and don't say it's just a can of beans just to have a can of beans. that every can, every bag of rice needs to have a purpose to it. Now, if you have that can of beans and you know that, okay, for every can of beans, I need 1 scoop of, or half scoop of, half cup of rice, dry, um, and therefore, because I like these can of beans, and I like to have chili powder to go with that. So you have, and that's a meal for me. You just know that that's what you do for your meal. Again, just don't buy random things because people think you should have them. Don't buy powdered eggs and you don't like eggs, or it's like you don't know what to do with them. Um, Now, if you have the money, buy these things. Ova Easy egg crystals are on my list to try and get, actually. So I do want to try those. But get these things and try them, and then develop a plan around them. Um, it's I didn't realize, it's like, oatmeal was not like a big thing for me, but I realized, I'm like, hey, you know what? I used um, a Dining on a Dime recipe. I did their barbecue meatball recipe the other night, and it requires quick cook oats. And I thought, okay, I've got some of those. I need to I need to go. I bought some at the grocery store, and I just happened to make some for breakfast the next day. I'm like, I forgot I do actually kind of enjoy oatmeal a little bit. I just add a little brown sugar. So now my goal is like, okay, I'm going to start buying quick oats, and I'm going to figure out how many quick oats I will need to make that barbecue meatloaf, or that barbecue. A few extra, yeah. I buy extras and store them as well too. Yep, and just buy that, and then buy according to what I will need, and not just buy the oats just because I like a little bit of oatmeal every now and then. Well, I know that I'll buy this number 10 can of quick oats because, all right, this will get me 4 recipes of that, 4 recipes of that meatloaf, and it will get me also 7 days of breakfast out of that 1 can. I don't know, just hypothetically speaking. So you kind of know what you've got with that. So either that 1 can will give me 2 weeks of breakfast, or it'll give me 4 recipes of the meatloaf. So you just kind of get what you need, but understand what you're getting, understand what it will do for you, understand what it will do for you. But then I don't know, I guess maybe I'm the only one that's guilty of that. I can probably take you in there right now. I'm going to wrap this up for too long. I'm rambling on. I know. I'm sorry, but I hope y'all are having a good time. I'm enjoying myself. But I am got a vacuum sealer. Yes, I do have a vacuum sealer. Yes, Lisa, I've got a vacuum sealer, but I'm afraid to use it because those bags are so expensive. But now I found online where there are oh, you know what? Thank you, Lisa. All right. Thank you, Lisa. I'm gonna use my vacuum sealer when I cut my meat down to 1 pound packages. I'm gonna put it in that. Thank you. Instead of putting it in Ziploc bags, I'm gonna do that. And jars. Yes, I have jars, and I've got the dry sealer for the jars. I've used that, and this is my very poorly organized system here. I'm not going to show all this to you. But there are some things that I bought in the past, like I bought, like, say, for instance, okay, this. We like our Thrive Life, and we like our, this stuff too. But freeze-dried pineapple. I bought freeze-dried pineapple because, okay, it is delicious just to eat. It's delicious just to eat. And, oh yeah, look, here's something I freeze. I did coffee. I did some instant coffee back in 2014 doing a test. And so it's exposed to the light for the most part, but the seal is still good. And I did that just to see how well that would last. Oh, this is for my bug out bag. So I got those at Walmart for $5. So that'll be in not my bug out bag. I think this is my going home bag. I'll keep that in my car. But like these things, I buy these random things. Well, I really don't have a use for the pineapple other than just eating it. And now, while that's not bad, I mean, there's no definite plan for it. I bought the pineapple just because I like it. Now, if I had this great pudding recipe where I wanted to put some pineapple in the pudding and, and then make a definite plan for that, then I will proactively buy the freeze-dried pineapple, just as an example. That's just maybe, again, I think I just got excited on some stuff. a good garnish or with chicken or teriyaki sauce. It's a very good suggestion. Yes, actually it would be. Um, I would probably add it, have some of that on stock just to do that. It's just, but again, it's me developing. I was just too lazy. I was just kind of telling folks earlier, I was too lazy. I didn't develop my recipes properly. I don't tend to follow recipes usually. When I cook, I just kind of throw things together. But when it comes to my food storage, and now I'm going to start using recipes just to be disciplined in how I purchase, instead of just randomly buying things that look good and just kind of throwing them together. So I have to be on my short-term storage. You do need to keep those things around to snack on during an emergency. I have found. Here's another thing too. Now, in an emergency situation, you're gonna appreciate anything you get. Anything you get. But here's where I'm kind of changing a little philosophy on some stuff too. Now, you do need to eat this stuff and rotate it. But I have to admit, sometimes adding like certain freeze-dried ingredients, like fruit, is pretty good. Fruit works pretty well, but things like proteins like beef and chicken, they tend to irritate me more than I appreciate them. So I think the same goes for canned chicken. I've canned chicken and use it in some recipes, but it has that over stewed quality to it. And my canned beef, I thought, let me try this again. Let me go back in there and show you this. See if I still have it. I've tried canning ground beef before. I raw packed it and then processed it. And then another time I fried it up. Yeah, here it is. Fried it up. And, oh, sorry. No, I'll tell you about that in a second. This is good stuff. Fried it up and then used this. It still has that corned beef hash in a can kind of taste to it. I almost call it dog foodish. Okay, moving on to this. Hold on. Let's look at this. This, ready to eat. Right here, got it at Publix. Good stuff. This is going into my hurricane kit. This is great stuff. Eat it right out of the can. Good stuff. They've also got this one, the 4-bean salad. This is good stuff too. And I enjoy that. So, and I found these at Family Dollar. I'm excited to try those. So mangoes, I'm going to go try those in a little bit. And this is also on my list to try. Dinty Moore chicken pot pie, also for the hurricane list, just to put in the go bag. The Dinty Moore, I don't know what's happening with Dinty Moore. Maybe things are just different now than what they were, but it just, the Dinty Moore beef stew just tasted absolutely vile. I mean, it was gross. They probably do have, yeah, I think they got a website. But I think you can probably find it on, actually I looked for that on Amazon. And I don't think I think I did see it on Amazon, but the packaging looks a little bit different, at least for the potato salad. Dinty Moore beef stew was absolutely just vile. And I think it had it almost like a, it reminded me of the Loma Linda vegetarian. This is a Seventh-day Adventist thing. It reminded me of the Loma Linda vegetarian patties, which I actually kind of enjoyed those at one point, but now they just kind of make me go, ugh. It had that taste to it. So, yeah, Publix is good too, but I was just talking about how I'm not doing Publix anymore because it's just expensive. I'm just biting the bullet and going to Walmart. So I'm kind of like saying goodbye to Publix, unless I need some chicken wings. Sometimes I get a craving for those overpriced chicken wings, or just anything in particular that Walmart may not have. Yeah, Dinty Moore beef stew, and there was also one other product I tried. Maybe it was an Armour beef stew, and it was just bad too. So I'm going to try the chicken pot pie. I may do like a little taste test. And also with my mango slices. So if y'all want to try them, let's pop it open and try. Actually, we can do it now. But this for the, but just for the hurricane supplies, like I said, getting this stuff ready. We're going to see what this is like. But my home canned chicken, while it's decent enough, it is, it's just kind of gross to me as well. My granddad years ago used to make a chicken stew. Actually, it was his own. I don't know if it was his own creation, but it was a Depression era food. It was where he would take chicken, make a stew of that with a milk-based stew, and add hot dogs to it. So I think that was just his own thing, his own creation, and we would have that sometimes. And it would remind me of, Sunday afternoon at my grandparents' house sometimes. So that would be his own thing. So look at my canned mango slices here. Look at that. Hey, oh, that looks good. Oh, my word. That looks really good. This may be a great find. This may be a good find. Oh, man. Canned mango. Oh, let's see. It's got... Okay. It's got a bit of that elementary school fruit cocktail kind of flavor to it. But it's not bad. I could appreciate that. I could appreciate that. So, as far as no heat, a no heat little pick me up. Oh yeah, pretty fresh, pretty light. Not bad. Okay, I'm gonna try my Dinty Moore chicken pot pie. We'll see if this is better than the Dinty Moore beef stew. Okay, this, does it have any TVP in it? Contains flavor, white chicken. Nope. I think the beef stew had, yeah, I think the beef stew had some TVP in there or something. I don't know. But pop this open. I got this at Dollar General. All right, so it's got that heavy cream-based kind of layer to it. Nice thickness. I'm sure heated up would be better, but I'm gonna try that. All right. I'm not too mad at this. I'm not too mad. Okay. That's a better option than the beef stew. Okay, good. That's a winner. Actually, yeah. I'll be okay with that. Yay, winner. Good. Thanks for talking me through that, gang. Well, that was fun. All right. I'm going to wrap this up then. I'm probably not going to eat the rest of this. I'm going to probably kind of freeze it a little bit and make a pot pie a little bit later. So yeah, I'll heat some of it up. But yeah, if I'm in a position where I can't heat it up or don't want to, because frankly, after a hurricane, I'm here to tell you, it is stinking hot. It is stinking hot, and if you don't have electricity, you don't have a place to stay cool or whatever, you don't want to cook. You want to make coffee, but you don't want to cook. So, see how my little gas heater's still going. So, you don't want to cook. So these are great options. So this is a meal, and I know this is probably for 2 people, but it's kind of sad to say I'd probably eat this all by myself. So I'll have 3 of these, and maybe a can of that 4-bean salad to go with this, because having this with, I want to find one other alternative, not Chef Boyardee, that kind of stuff. But this is really nice. But I'll have a can of that 4-bean salad, maybe for a meal or whatever, and maybe some of that mango for a pick-me-up. This is really good. This is really good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, Lisa, hey, generator. It is up and running. It always has been. It's got a stutter to it. And I want to get rid of the stutter, and that involves me going in, opening up the carburetor, and cleaning out the jet thing, I think. I'm not entirely sure what part of this is the carburetor. I've YouTubed, I've looked, and I'm still not confident. And I don't want to tear up my generator, and I'm too cheap right now to go send it to anybody. So it works, it just kind of stutters. And I saw in another video where the guy said it won't hurt anything for it to do that. It just doesn't sound smooth. So right now it's not a critical thing for me to address, but it is something I do want to look into and get taken care of. And I might add a little bit of fuel stabilizer, more stabilizer to it. Maybe that'll help solve it as well too, or smooth it out a bit. I don't know, but I don't want to. I don't want to fool with it just yet if I don't have to. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, because I'm really kind of afraid what would happen, and I don't want it to break. I don't want it to break. All right, gang. Thanks for hanging out with me. That was fun. So let's just keep on keeping on what we're doing. Progression is progression. So